Hello and welcome to the Video Analysis with LoggerPro screencast. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to use a program called LoggerPro to create a motion map and a series of graphs from a video. So in order to do this yourself, you will have to have access to LoggerPro and also have a video that you plan on analyzing. All right, to get to LoggerPro from a school computer, you can go to the Windows button on the bottom and just type in LoggerPro. It should be one of the programs that come up. On this computer, it's also on the desktop. So once you open it, it'll look like this. The first thing that you're going to do is insert a movie. So go to the very top toolbar, go Insert, Movie, and then you need to find the video that you created. In this case, I have one on my desktop labeled Tumble Buggy. So click Open. Now when you click Open, it's going to open up the video in LoggerPro. You'll notice on the bottom there's some play and stop and moving frame forward buttons. There's also these buttons on the bottom right that we'll get to in just a minute. To start off, I'm just going to press play so we can watch the video. You'll notice it's going to be a little glitchy or jumpy. It's going to skip kind of from frame to frame, not at a constant rate, and that's okay. That won't matter for what we're doing for video analysis. So here we go. So this is an object moving basically at a constant speed, and it's moving both to the right and also down on the frame. You'll also notice that in the video there is a meter stick. Can't really see the markings on this, but I put this in here so that we have an object of reference that we know its length. Okay, next we're going to click on this button on the bottom right that says Enable Disable Video Analysis. We're going to click that and open it. Since it's off the screen a little bit, I'm going to readjust the frame size. Now when you're doing this, you actually want the video to take up basically your whole screen. That's going to make it easier to be accurate in the placement of your dots on the motion map. Once we click that button, you'll see that there are a whole bunch of other tools that open up on the right hand side of the toolbar. We'll go through those in a minute. All right, I'm going to go back to the very start of the video. And the first thing that we're going to do is set a scale. So the idea is when we're making measurements on this screen, right now it'll make measurements in pixels, but once we set a scale, it'll make measurements in inches or centimeters or meters, whatever we'd like to tell it to do. All right, so the set scale button is right here. It is a horizontal ruler. If you hover over it, it says set scale. And then to set a scale, you find the object that you know the length. You click and drag from one side to the other. So click on the left, drag to the right. Then when you let go, it's going to ask you how long that object is, or the length of that object. In this case, that is 1 meter. That's the default length. That's often done in videos like this, but it could have been another distance, such as the height of a person, or in this case, maybe we knew the length of the car. But 1 meter is what we want. So click OK. Now once we do that, if you go over here to the photo distance button, you can see that we can measure distances on the screen, and it'll tell us how far it is. So 0.33 meters, just from where I clicked one place to another. Or if I wanted to measure the length of the car from the back to the front, it tells me it's 0.1699 meters, or about 0.17 meters, 17 centimeters. So that's somewhat convenient if you needed to make measurements. Okay, next, the main thing that we're going to be doing is creating a motion map. So there's a button here that says Add Point. Click on that. And then we need to pick a location on the object that we're going to click each time to create a dot. So one convenient location might be the center of the car, although it's a little hard to tell exactly where the center is. I could also click, the front of one of the wheels. In this case, I'm going to click this headlight. It should be something that's fairly easy to see throughout the video. So I'm going to be very careful about trying to place the point exactly in the middle of the headlight. Click once, and then you'll notice it advances a frame, and it left a dot on the location of where I put it on the last frame. All right, I'm going to do that again. Click. You'll see it advances 1 frame. Click. It advances 1 frame. You also notice that while I'm doing this, a good technique is to move your cursor away so you can see the object that you're trying to click on again before you click on it. So there you go. It's not moving much in each frame, but it's moving a little bit. I'm doing my best to be accurate about placing these dots. I do about 10 more of these dots. If you're watching the video, go ahead and fast forward it. Okay, I think that's about 10 more. There we go. I could do this for the whole motion of the car. That would take a while, but this will be enough for what I need to show you today. Okay, so a couple things before we get into the actual graphing part. Let's say you put a dot somewhere and you didn't actually mean for it to be there. I didn't place that one very well. There's a button on the top right that says select point. If you click on that button, you can click the point and you can drag it to where it should have been. In this case, I'm just kind of seeing the direction of the points to place it there. But I could also go back one frame and try to put it in the correct place. I went back one frame by clicking the previous frame button. And I can go back forward again. Another thing that might happen is, let's say you place a dot somewhere and you didn't mean to. So I'm going to place a dot. I accidentally put one in the middle of the screen. I can move that point, or I can also just click on it and delete it. Okay. So now that we've done that, I think it's a good habit to get back on the select point button so that you don't accidentally add some more points. And then we're going to not delete this, so do not delete it, but we're going to move it to the background. And in fact, if I click on the graph, that's going to go back behind the graph. It's still there, but it's behind the graph. All right, so as we are creating this motion map on the screen, there are two graphs that were being created. One of them, the red graph, says X, or horizontal position versus time. The blue dots represent the vertical position versus time. What's happening on the screen is the bottom left-hand corner is like 0, 0 on an XY graph or an XY grid. And actually, if we click the, which one is it? The Set Origin button, I'm just going to click on it. You'll see right there that that yellow line actually represents where the left-hand side of the origin is. So each time that we make a dot, the program is measuring the horizontal component of that distance, so how far it is to the right in the X direction, and how far up it is in the Y direction. And each of those measurements are going onto this graph. All right, let's just look at the horizontal position for a minute. I'm going to do that by clicking on the y-axis and then clicking just on X, which stands for horizontal position. I'm also going to right-click and auto-scale from 0. So we can talk about this. It's a good habit to auto-scale from 0 so that you can compare these data points to the origin. That gives you a better, bigger picture view of what's going on. All right, so if we look at this, you'll notice that the position is increasing at a pretty constant rate. This looks linear. It's increasing because the object is moving to the right, and the constant rate means it's moving at a constant speed. Let's click once on the graph and click the linear fit button. It'll tell us what that speed is. It's about 0.26 meters per second. Now I'm going to right click again and make it auto scale from 0. It automatically switched back away from that. Okay, so this is the horizontal position, constant speed moving to the right. If we do the same thing for Y, this is the vertical position. I'm going to right click, auto scale from 0. We can see that the object is moving, in this case in the Y direction means down. So since it has a negative slope, that means it's physically moving down in the Y direction. And this also looks pretty linear. It's moving at a constant speed downward. I'm going to click once on the graph, do a linear fit. I'm going to make it auto scale from 0 again. And you'll see, just comparing this to the red car, the slope in the Y direction is 0.0 or negative 0.08 meters per second. It's moving much more slowly down than it is over. And that just has to do with the angle of the car. The car is pointed mostly to the right, slightly down. Okay, let's look at a couple other graphs that we can make. If I click here on the left, I can also select X velocity. Wow, when we look at this, you'll notice it is going all over the place, up and down and up and down. I'm going to right click and auto scale from 0 so I can get a better view of the picture. And what we're seeing with the horizontal velocity, this is how fast it's moving to the right, since it's a positive number, that 0 there on the bottom. The speed is actually staying about constant. You can see that the speed is getting slower and then faster and then slower and then faster and then slower and then faster. Really, that's probably happening because I'm not able to place the data points precisely, or maybe the limitations of the amount of pixels on the screen for exactly where the data points can go. But in general, this looks like an independent trend. And if we click once on the graph and do a linear fit, auto scale from 0, you'll see that in general it's about horizontal. This makes it look like the speed is increasing a little bit in the x direction, but I would say it's actually mostly a flat line. We'll do the same thing for the y velocity. Right click, auto scale from 0. This time the y velocity is in the negative numbers. And same story, we can see it going up and down and up and down and up and down. This I would also say is mostly a constant velocity. Now something that I'm going to do to make this a little more apparent, I'm going to click back on the graph, or sorry, click back on the video, and instead of placing points at every one frame, I'm going to go back and delete from frames 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, delete every 5 frames in a row. I think that was roughly 5. 1, 2. That should be helping get rid of any issues that I have from, let's see, go back 1, from not being able to place the points correctly. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, on the screen, skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, place a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, place a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm actually, since I'm skipping 5 frames and it already advances 1, I'm actually going every 6 right now. But that's going to be just fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. What I just want to show you briefly about this is that if we were to look at the y velocity, it looks a little more flat than it did before, and the same thing for the x velocity. Hopefully it looks a little more flat than it did before. Okay, to finish this up, depending on the assignment that you're doing, you're going to have to create some graphs, and you might want to present them in a certain way. Here's what I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to put all 4 of those graphs that I showed you on the same page. We're going to go insert graph, insert graph, insert graph. So there's 4 graphs here. If I go page auto arrange, it makes the graphs and the video and the data table all fit. And then I'm going to select which graphs I want. So this one I'm going to say X for horizontal position. I'm going to do a linear fit, and I'm going to right click and auto scale from 0, just like we did before. This one I'm going to do X velocity. I'm going to auto scale from 0. I'm actually not going to do a linear fit. I'm going to show, or write by writing the title, independent trend. It's basically a flat line. To put a title somewhere, you double click twice, or double click on the graph, and then you can type in the title. For the Y position, I'm going to do a linear fit since we decided it was linear. Linear fit, and then right click, auto scale from 0. So I'm going to make this go up to like 1.0, something like that. Move that around. Let's move that around too. All right, and then the last one, y velocity, is what we want. I'm going to right click, auto scale from 0. Let's have it go down to -0.12, just trying to make sure the dots fit cleanly on the graph. This one is also an independent trend. Okay, so we are now ready to print. One last thing I didn't mention so far in the video, when you auto scale from 0, it will also auto scale the time all the way to 0. In some cases, if your video didn't start at 0 time, you might have to click on the x-axis and type in the actual time that it started. Okay, Good job watching the video. Good luck doing your own video analysis.